Yeah, next time we'll go like 5 to 10 minute max. And don't want to go. Alright. Hey guys, we watched Batman yesterday, his second time. So we just wanted to give you a quick review based upon it.
Let's go over the story.
I mean, for me it was pretty good, considering like I didn't have very much knowledge whenever it came to like year 2 Batman. I've only seen like a couple comic book movies based upon it, with animations and stuff.
Alright, so basically this is Batman in his second year, Robert Pattinson playing Batman, of course, and all of a sudden these murders start happening, and it has to do with basically Gotham corruption because all these high-profile city officials are being killed. So Batman investigates and leads to some revelations about both Gotham and his own personal life coming to light. It's really dark, really deep, really story-driven, a really good mystery. It's not going to be for everybody. Sometimes it's depressing, sometimes it's a little bit disturbing, but overall I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's probably the best Batman movie. I'm going to say that. It's the best Batman movie we've gotten, but it's not the best movie with Batman we've gotten.
Yeah. From like comic book to...
I'm mainly saying, to me, The Dark Knight is still the best.
Yeah.
Dark Knight is like perfect to me. But this movie had a few issues, but I still think it's the best, like, perfect representation of Batman we've had so far. It's just a whole different animal, really.
And I'm glad they didn't get into like the whole philanthropy, aspect of having to do that. Eventually,
this movie's almost 3 hours long, and I'd say we got less than 15 minutes of Bruce Wayne, really. Yep. And even when we got Bruce Wayne,
he was only doing detective.
This guy wasn't like cut off from the rest of the world. Like he was just out of it. Like, but it's just like to the point where like if you saw this guy and you walking down the street, he's got all this money. It's like you can kind of just really figure it out easily that, hey, this guy might be Batman. Just how he acts in public, it's just really
awkward.
Yeah, I guess because they're playing him as really a damaged individual. But
and he still hasn't fully Batman never fully gets over like his parents dying or anything. But like it seems like it still hits a lot harder than any of the other movies.
Oh no, man, get up. Just go to a therapist. I mean, gosh. So what? Your parents died. At least you had parents.
Dang. So as far as like the bad guy, with the Riddler being the bad guy, I think that was the best iteration we've gotten. Definitely compared to Jim Carrey.
Well, I will say the only thing we have to really compare him to is Jim Carrey in a big, real tight green suit with red hair going around like grabbing his crotch, making weird jokes. I mean, it's not really much of a comparison. This you can tell that it's really inspired. This movie is really inspired by Seven and Zodiac because Riddler's like taunting the police, leaving puzzles, and just like the Zodiac killer and the Seven killer. Have you ever seen Seven?
I've never seen Seven, no.
You gotta see it. But anyway, you can tell that this movie was really inspired by that. But it was definitely inspired also by Chinatown, 1974 Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. You've never seen that, I can guarantee you. It's all about corruption in Los Angeles. It's amazing.
Alright, so that's 2 movies I need to watch then.
Have you seen Zodiac? Well, that's 3 movies you need to watch, actually.
Jeez. Man. The expert right here. But whenever it came to the little Catwoman aspect of it, it was good, but like the whole romance thing didn't really just...
The thing is that going into this movie, all I hear was Riddler and Catwoman steal the show. Coming out of those, like, Riddler and Jim Gordon really stole the show for me.
Jim Gordon was carried.
That's probably my Jeffrey Wright's iteration of James Gordon is probably my favorite James Gordon we've had, even more than Gary Oldman. And I really love Gary Oldman, but Jeffrey Wright was more like Robin in this movie. He was literally on doing detective work with Batman by Batman's side through a lot of it, and I really think it felt like Batman Year One, the comic book. Have you read that?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who haven't, it's basically an origin story for both Batman and Jim Gordon. It felt like Jim Gordon finally got like it's a light to shine. Really, it's time to shine.
Yeah, he's not fully established just yet compared to the other movies where like there's a good bit known.
Well, I mean, like in like the original '90s movies, he was just like a side character who really didn't really do much at all.
I don't even remember him from them.
He's the short, plump guy with the mustache, but he's not really memorable. Even though him and Alfred were the only two actors, the actors that played those two were the only ones that made it through all four of the '90s movies. Like those are the only characters that weren't replaced. And
Wow.
it's pretty funny to think about. But yeah, Catwoman, I think, really overrated. But Zoe Kravitz did a good job.
She did a good
but
job, yeah.
she's nowhere near on the level, I think, of Michelle Pfeiffer back in '92 with Batman Returns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I would rank her a little bit higher than Anne Hathaway from The Dark Knight Rises, even though I still think Anne Hathaway did a really good job. Especially this movie's like really grounded in reality, even more than the Dark Knight trilogy, which is kind of crazy with how like grounded in reality that one was. But this one makes it feel like Batman could be a job, like a career opportunity, a career path. Like you go to a career counselor and you say, "I want to be Batman. Show me what I have to do to be Batman."
What's really cool about this particular movie is the fact that they make sure to tell you, like, yeah, it's year 2 Batman, so he hasn't had everything figured out. There's even one part through where he's like finally learning how to glide and everything, but he hasn't fully figured out the whole glider thing, so he still has a parachute on there, and he gets...
Well, that's part of the grounded reality. That's actually like what a base jumper does. When they have the wingsuit, they have the parachute, because, you know, if you just have a wingsuit, you're just going to crash into something real fast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a pretty funny scene. But, yeah, he does get he makes a lot of mistakes in this movie, because, of course, he's only in year 2. But, honestly, I'm fine with that. I don't need him to be the smartest person in the world. He's still literally, he's probably 22 years old in this movie. He's younger than me, so I mean, he's younger than both of us.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But Robert Pattinson, sometimes it felt like he was overacting. I don't know, something about his performance. Maybe it was just the first time viewing, because I really liked his performance more the second time I saw it. But I don't know why. At some points I was just like, bro, are you gonna talk or are you just gonna stare?
No.
I mean,
it was the silence.
He was brooding so much. Like, good lord, come on.
Like, at least a third of this movie was just him looking at people in total silence. It was hilarious, but like you could kind of understand it, because like once we got the third act, most of the cops and most everybody understood what the silence meant.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people complain about the third act too. We're giving spoilers, right?
Yeah, we're giving spoilers.
So basically, you've been warned for spoilers, but in the third act, Batman they have Falcone, which we have yet to talk about. Falcone.
Oh my god, that killed me whenever...
Falcone, I can't remember the guy's name, but he played the Jesus in The Big Lebowski, and he played, in Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Oh my god.
Phantom,
yep.
And he killed it.
He did.
He gave me like real Adam Sandler Uncut Gems vibes for this role. I don't know why. My whole first viewing of it, I was just like, man, Adam Sandler could really kill this role.
Well, even though he was playing,
but
a real bad guy,
he did a real good job.
He was like still kind of like witty and funny throughout the whole entire thing.
He was an entertaining bad guy. He was just like someone you can identify with, I guess. Mm-hmm. Not really identify. More like a guy that you would want to play pool with, because it feels like he'd be a fun guy to be around. But he did a really good job up until his untimely demise by the hands of the Riddler, which was a pretty interesting scene because it finally realizes, like Batman finally realizes how he's been played by the Riddler. But
the whole entire movie.
Yeah, Riddler was really, really good. Let's just say it with his planning, because that was just like pinpoint accurate timing.
And how he like was exactly at that one place, that one apartment, that whole entire time.
So Riddler had an apartment across from the Iceberg Lounge where Falcone ran his operations and basically lived. So basically Batman's arresting Falcone because they have on tape him strangling a girl, which they play the whole tape of him strangling this girl to death, which I was just like, holy crap, they're going really, really dark.
They played it on the news too.
That was the, like, you gotta be, that's just weird that the news would play that. I was just thinking,
played the whole entire
they
thing.
played the entire tape of this girl getting strangled, not on like a website, I'm talking about like on cable news. This was basically the CNN for Gotham in the movie, and they just played the entire tape. And then they also played the tape for the second Riddler puzzle with the Commissioner, because Commissioner Gordon's not Commissioner Gordon yet right now.
Oh yeah, with the rats all over the box.
They did like a jigsaw trap where these rats would climb up to the guy's face, the Commissioner's face, and eat it. And it didn't show it, but you just like it's still effective. And they basically played that video on the entire video on the news, almost like, so this news is playing this guy getting his face eaten by rats. That's really, even the news is dark in this movie. But Riddler, I really wanted more Riddler traps though. But the movie starts off, especially how the movie starts off with, it could have gone full horror, because it starts off with Riddler basically stalking the mayor, and then it shows him in the mayor's house behind him, just watching him. I was just like, you could have gone full horror mode with this, which they almost kind of did.
Yeah.
He was drinking, focused on TV because he wasn't doing so good in the elections, which we're gonna get to his successor in a minute, because she was really stupid. She was really stupid.
Honestly, I didn't like her from the get-go. The way she was presented, just the whole entire demeanor.
Her name just killed me every time.
What was her name again?
Her last name was Real, but like it's spelled real, but it had that little hyphen, I think, over the E, so it was Real. Mm-hmm. And so her motto was vote for Real change. Like, ooh, that's
no.
That was really bad.
Like, the only memorable scene that I really remember, and it's not even memorable, it was just funny, because, like...
She gets shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets shot.
She's like...
It's in the in the climax of the movie. All these people are panicking, and we're going to tell you why they're panicking in a minute, because they got a good reason to. But she goes out knowing that she could somehow get hurt, because Jim Gordon's warned her, and what happens next? She gets shot. Point blank.
She goes on the stage. She's like, everybody, listen, and then gets shot.
Yeah, she gets just shot automatically. And I guess it just winged her, because later she's looking pretty fine. I mean, she looks like she must have just been like a flesh wound or something like that. But she was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But what should we talk about?
Alfred was pretty solid. We didn't get very much.
Yeah, Alfred was barely in this movie, period.
Yeah, but the little parts that we did get, great.
You can tell, like, that guy's seen some stuff. He's got that scar, and he's obviously, he taught, it's alluded that he taught Bruce Wayne how to fight.
Yep.
And Bruce Wayne fights pretty well in this movie.
Yep.
The action is amazing. Honestly, I'd say far better than... I'm not going to say far better than Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is a monster who would eat this Batman alive, but this Batman can handle himself pretty well.
The only thing with this Batman for me is, like, he would purposely take shots.
Oh my gosh. At what point are you just going to, like, try to duck and dodge? I mean, because he gets shot a lot. That is definitely the most unrealistic thing in this movie, is just how many shots he takes. Because he takes at least 20 shots, and they're point blank shots too.
Then there was at least 3 of them that were shotgun shots straight to the chest. Like, the first time he took it, and he got back up, and he was good, right? And then, you know, he fights a couple other people, and then he sees another shotgun and just walks straight towards it for no reason. He could have dodged, he could have hit the gun. No, walk straight to it. I can take it, apparently.
Yeah, that, I don't know, he must really believe in that armor. He's not wearing hockey pads after all, but we haven't talked about Penguin yet.
Oh,
because Penguin's probably the most comedic, the comedic part of this movie, really.
From the beginning.
Colin Farrell did amazing.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't even
most
tell.
most people didn't even know it was Colin Farrell until they looked it up.
You wouldn't be able to tell if it was Colin Farrell. Just the makeup job they did on him was amazing. And then Colin Farrell eventually leads to what is definitely the best Batmobile scene, or the best Batmobile chase we have ever seen. Because we went to go see it in a Dolby Cinema, and as soon as that thing revved up, the whole theater shook because of the speakers, the pristine speakers they have there, and it was amazing. And it wasn't like it was only one big action piece to that chase. The other pieces were just like a straight up normal chase, how a chase would probably go in real life. And it was amazing. Because that Batmobile is a monster. It's so good. It's basically just a muscle car with a jet engine. Or a rocket strapped to the back of it, basically. That's what it is.
Oh man, whenever I first seen the Batmobile, all I could think was, it is literally a Hellcat with a rocket on the back of it.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
That's literally what it is.
That's literally all it is, really. But then, but the cinematography, you remember when he gets out, it's in the trailer where he's walking towards Penguin, he's overturned, and you see the fire behind him. It's just like,
it's perfect.
It's just shots like that, that's just littered throughout this movie, just beautiful shots that.
They took a lot of still shots and added so much, like, what word would it be? Like, it's just absolutely beautiful. Just those still shots for like 2-3 seconds, you're looking at it, and then they zoom into it, and then you get back into, you know, the rest of the
story. Are you talking about where they're showing out the city? The city?
Just in general.
Gotham City looks really good in this movie. It really is reminiscent of Blade Runner with all the signs, because all those neon signs that they have, not like neon signs like Batman Forever that look absolutely ridiculous. These are just like kind of like Times Square, all these advertisements, these video screens everywhere, playing the news and stuff. It looks really good, and it looks really good on a big screen. That's all I'm gonna say. And I can't wait to see more of it, because we're obviously gonna get another one of these probably in the next 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah, no. They've already confirmed.
I mean, like, but they don't have a story or anything, so they're gonna have Matt Reeves, who directed this and wrote it. They're gonna have him write it and direct it, because they're leaning more towards filmmakers having complete control over it. Mm-hmm. So, like,
I mean, he did a great job.
They definitely let him make the movie he wanted to make, and they were not worried about a rating. I wonder if they bribed someone to get a PG-13 rating for this movie, because it could have easily been rated R.
Easily, with everything easily. The soundtrack, amazing.
It has an amazing score. You know, I felt like some parts I just thought the score wasn't necessary. Like when he's going through Riddler's apartment and there's this tension building, like you might expect that Riddler's gonna pop up like a pop scare or a jump scare. I was thinking, man, that would have been better with no music at all. If you just all you heard was him doing, all you heard was his footsteps looking throughout the apartment. That's just like one nitpick of mine. Other than that, the score is just beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, one of the biggest things I totally forgot to mention at the beginning of the movie too is how everybody's still very fearful of Batman.
Yeah, because it opens up with these crimes being committed. 3 specific crimes, really. Just a guy robbing a store, some criminals doing spray paint and breaking windows of a bank.
Yeah. And then the other people just punching.
Yeah, just like that stupid gang that was just like they were just watching videos of them like punching random people out of nowhere. Like they were watching this video. This one guy just punched a jogger and knocked him out, and they were just going crazy about it. It a little ridiculous, but then they spot this Asian guy on the train, and they're gonna jump him. Why him? Because I guess because they don't like Asian people or something. Or
Stop Asian hate.
yeah, and they did not like him at all or something. But or he was the only one getting off. But there's like, hey, let's get him. So they try to get the younger recruit to knock him out. Then next thing you know, Batman comes out of the shadows because he's
all you hear is footsteps, and that's the biggest thing
yeah.
because nobody knows where he's coming from, but they see the bat signal in the sky.
Yeah, because he's narrating. Batman narrates in this, by the way.
And that was actually really good. I love that.
I did not expect. I mean, part of me was just. I never really think about it, but like, I can't remember the last time we had a Batman that actually narrated. Like a live action movie. I don't think we have that. Maybe except for Ben Affleck at the beginning of Batman v Superman. We have never had a Batman narrate.
Yeah, but what it reminded me of was the comic books.
When he's just like a thought bubble?
Yep. Yep. So I thought that was really good just to add that in. It wasn't throughout the whole movie, but it worked for like the beginning and like certain parts.
It was a good way to set the tone of this Batman. Because he's talking like he enjoys that people fear him. Like when the signal goes up, people look in the the criminals look in the shadows. It shows them looking in the shadows, and then they just like, they start to have second thoughts and they run away. They try to run away from any dark spots because they're afraid that he might pop up in them. But anyway, Batman shows up before this gang attacks this Asian guy, and he completely wrecks them sideways. It's brutal, and it's awesome, and it's a really good action scene though. Yeah, which they really like. It's still not as good as like a warehouse scene from Batman v Superman. I still think that's like one of the greatest action sequences in comic book history from the get-go. But it does show just like how more realistic, because Batman takes a lot of punches and he gets beat up pretty good.
I mean, whenever you're getting like 8-9 people at you all at once, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, like Christian Bale going against like 9 people and barely take a punch.
Yeah.
Which
so more realistic for sure.
Yeah, more realistic. And what was that?
Just a thought.
So anyway, what happens after that? Oh yeah, they go to the mayor's house with the murder, where the murder's taking place, and they're looking around, and all these cops are uneasy that Batman's there, but Jim Gordon, they're tight, so even though it's only year 2, whatever. Yeah. So he looks around, there's Riddler's leaving these messages for Batman with honestly some pretty easy riddles. Like the first one is, what does a liar do when he dies? The answer, of course, he lies still. And but he also leaves these like little codes that they have to decipher, which is like the Zodiac. But that leads to, it leads to Alfred doing the codes the next morning, which I really like seeing Alfred doing. I don't know, anything Andy Serkis does, I'm a fan of, especially in this movie. He was just, for what little time he was in there as Alfred, it was perfect.
Yeah, and anything that Batman wasn't able to decode, he was able to.
Well, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but Alfred was looking at the code one way and Bruce was looking at another, and how Bruce looked at it led to the real clue, which leads them to the mayor's garage looking at his cars, and like I would say this guy has like vintage cars, a garage full of vintage cars, and you just gotta be like, you just have to take one look at that garage and be like, yeah, this guy's dirty. I don't know why anyone didn't just like, hello. Like, no way a mayor is being able to buy vintage Corvettes and race cars and keep them in the garage like that. But they look at this one car and they find a thumb. It was the mayor's thumb because Riddler cut it off, connected to a USB drive. And the joke was thumb drive, which I thought was hilarious.
It was hilarious. I laughed whenever I seen it.
Not a lot of people in the theater. I don't think I heard a lot of people laugh in the theater for that one.
They didn't understand it at first.
I don't know if they didn't understand it. They just thought, ew, or something like that. But I thought it was a good joke. Because then they plug it into Gordon's laptop, and they need a website. They need a password.
Yeah.
And they need a fingerprint for the thumb drive, and they need the fingerprint off the thumb drive. And Gordon's like, "Oh, this guy's hilarious," and that was just, I laughed at that too. For what little bit of comedy there is in this movie, it's good comedy.
Oh yeah, it was pretty solid. Like even the awkward comedy, the one that had me the most, because whenever you take a look at it and you reflect back, you're like, damn, this man's a real stalker. If you take it out of context, it was the whole Batman thing. It's like I was watching you inside your apartment.
Yeah. So these pictures that on the thumb drive, they find these pictures with the mayor outside the Iceberg Lounge with this woman, and in the picture is Oswald Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Yeah.
So Batman goes to the Iceberg Lounge to talk to Penguin, which leads to another action sequence because obviously the thugs in there are going to want him in, so he fights his way in. Penguin stops the fight, talks to him, and basically just like shrugs off Batman, basically. Even does a drug deal in front of Batman. Like, I was just like, so Batman's not going to do anything about that?
Yeah, I thought he was going to do something about it, but I guess for that beginning, he was just trying to get some.
I guess he was more focused on the mystery or something. I don't know. It just felt. I don't know why they had that in there. I guess to introduce Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, because she walks in this scene, and Batman's just completely like staring her down, like okay, what's going on here? And then he notices her boots.
Yeah.
Because
the boots that he noticed.
And the boots she was wearing were in the photo that he was already looking at that he saw Penguin in.
Yep.
So he follows her home and literally watches her through her windows with binoculars from the building across the street, which was very stalkerish.
Yep. And then later on, proceeds to tell her exactly that.
Yeah, I've been watching you. So I was watching you. Because she suits up there, meets the little girl that was in the picture, who's like apparently her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which
they never fully say, but
I mean, she's calling her baby, and Zoe Kravitz said that Catwoman in this movie is bi, so I'm assuming girlfriend. But anyway, she goes there and she says they're gonna leave tonight after she does this one thing. The one thing was she goes to the mayor's house, breaks in and gets into the safe, and steals a passport because he took her girlfriend's passport from her. Yeah. And then Batman shows up, stops her, they talk a little, and I forgot what happened after that.
Somebody comes in from...
that's what stopped it.
Yeah.
It was a cop. Because it's a crime scene.
Yeah.
No, they go back to Catwoman's apartment.
And, it's been ransacked.
And then it's been like broken into. The girl whose name I think is Monica, or it was a Russian name.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's been kidnapped. They have no idea where she is. Batman tells her he'll help her find her. And then they showed the Commissioner Pete. I don't remember his first name was Pete, I think. And he's in the Riddler trap. He's already dead. But they just showed the aftermath of the Riddler trap, or the video Riddler puts out. Of course, we've already talked about, which is really good. Yeah, we're going really deep into this. Well, you said a spoiler review on this one.
Yeah.
Where was I at? Sorry about that. But anyway, the interrogation scene. So basically, Riddler's just telling him that you haven't really figured the whole plan out. So Batman has to goes back to his apartment, notices something underneath the floor, and they watch this video that Riddler had left that was recorded a few days ago or something like that.
Oh, by the way, Riddler had 500.
Yeah, he had 500 followers on like some kind of weird Twitch account or something like that. And I think it was someone in the theater said, "Oh man, that's no one would follow this guy." I was just like, "Are you crazy?" In today's world, he would at least have 10,000 followers. I mean, this guy's famous right now. He's killing people live on the air. He's gonna have like 10,000 followers at least.
And his big thing was he didn't know how to make the bombs, and he literally asked.
So he has basically this whole community of people following him, and he didn't know. He says in the video, he's like, thanks everyone for help with the detonators. He's like really soft spoken in this murder suit, like that looks creepy as all get out. I mean, it's so creepy looking, but it's creepy hearing him talk all normal and softly in that suit, like, because especially after you've seen him kill multiple people in that suit. But anyway, that's when the whole plan goes out. It's revealed that he's set charges for these I guess
it's the
water mains, not water mains, they're like the walls of Gotham that hold the water from going into the city. He blows them up and the city gets flooded. People have to evacuate to this little arena where the new mayor's having her campaign victory rally, and that's when his clan, I guess, the Riddler clan are there in the rafters.
It's really just above the stage, really.
Yeah, above it all, like at the top, and they're with rifles, and they shoot the mayor.
Dressed exactly like him.
Yeah, they all shoot the mayor. They start shooting other people, and then Batman shows up, beats them, saves the day. When you're bringing up there is one key thing though. When you brought up when he got shot point blank with the shotgun, he's down, he's about to die. Then Catwoman saves him because she's there. Mm-hmm. She saves him, but then Catwoman's getting beat pretty bad.
Yeah, they gave us a solid Easter egg right there.
Yeah, they give us a Bane Easter egg because he pulls out this green liquid which looks like venom, which Bane uses. Shoots that in his leg. And he goes absolutely apeshit. He choke slammed this guy and almost beats him to death. And he would have beat him to death if Gordon hadn't have stopped him. Then Batman saves more people from getting electrocuted, and then this beautiful shot. We have to talk about this shot. The beautiful shot where he's in the water.
And they're all following him?
Yeah, so the people that are trapped on a stage, he clears out the stage, puts his hand out trying to help someone out. No one's going for his hand except for the kid. The mayor's kid.
Throughout the movie over and over.
The mayor's kid is the one to grab, and then the other people follow. Yeah. And so he becomes, and it's just this beautiful shot of him holding a flare and him walking through the water with the people following him. It's just a beautiful shot.
Do you know what that scene reminded me of? Do you remember the Man of Steel scene where they're all basically holding on to him?
You're thinking of Batman v Superman?
Yeah.
Or you're talking about when he saves that girl in Mexico, and it's like a Day of the Dead celebration, and then he puts the girl down, and all the people are like reaching for him, basically touching him like he's God or Jesus or something.
Well, all throughout that, they kept saying that he was hope.
Yeah. So that's what a symbol means, but it was let's not get into that movie. We'll do a review of that movie some other time, because boy, do I have a lot to say about that one.
But we're back to them following Batman
out. And then it just shows the city being the damage the water did to the city, and then Batman narrating, saying that he's no longer vengeance. He sees that vengeance isn't the way. And all these people are actually look at Batman as like a symbol of hope, like Superman, really. And then
the really good scene. It was like a good 2-3 minutes of the lady. Remember the lady that he had in his arm, and she didn't want to let.
Oh yeah, that he was carrying her to this life. I guess it was a stretcher, but I think she was connected to a chopper or something. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, he puts down the stretcher, and she doesn't want to let go of his arm, which is a big change because when he saved that Asian dude from that gang, the Asian dude was scared of him, and he didn't want anything to do with Batman. Yeah. And so that's it shows like a big change. The tides have turned. Something now people love Batman. Yep. Now they're no longer scared of him. Even the mayor seems to accept Batman because she was not for him at all. She hated Batman before. And then the Arkham scene. Yeah. I think we need to save that to the end because I got something to say about that. Anyway.
That's about it for the movie. Besides the Arkham scene, really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. So what happens in Arkham? Riddler. There's this news. There's news that this guy's watching a TV. This guard's watching TV where the news says Riddler's plans failed. Batman saves everyone, and Riddler's going crazy everywhere, jumping in his cell, going, making these noises. The next thing he knows, he hears this voice come from a cell near his, and one second. I can't remember the actor's name because he's a fairly new actor, but he played he was in the Eternals.
Yeah.
And
but whenever he first came to the scene for me, and I thought I was the only person that thought it was Two-Face, but it was a couple other people.
You thought it was I was surprised that people thought it was Two-Face.
Well,
spoiler alert, it's the Joker.
Yeah.
He's played by Ben. I can't pronounce his name. Barry Keoghan or something. He was Druid and Druid in the Eternals, the one that can control people's minds. Really good up and coming actor, he plays Joker, and it doesn't really show his face. At least my first showing was in IMAX. In IMAX, you really couldn't see anything about his face. It was, but when we go see it in Dolby, the projector in Dolby is so good that you could actually see a little bit of his face. It's real scarred and stuff.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I was thinking it was.
That's why you thought it was Two-Face, and apparently a few other people did too. Which I was just like, no.
But then he laughed, and then as soon as he continued laughing, I was like, yeah, this is the Joker.
Which I'm not really thrilled about. I don't know about anyone else. I'm just getting a little fatigued of Joker. I mean, in my lifetime, I've had Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, and
we have enough Jokers.
I mean, I just want them. I want to see more villains that we haven't seen yet. I mean, I would like to see Mr. Freeze done right. I think that would be a pretty cool iteration in this universe. The ventriloquist would be really cool. You know who that is?
Actually.
He's the guy that has a split personality, and he has this little puppet, Mr. Scarface, and he's actually pretty sadistic, and he could be really cool.
Well, somebody else, I thought that'd be really cool, but I don't know how they would fully do that. Solomon Grundy would work very well too.
I don't think I would do in this universe, though. This universe is way too grounded.
Yeah.
But I was more thinking of Professor Pig.
Yeah.
That would be
that was good, man.
He would really work in here. But they set up quite a few villains in this movie anyway. Like
they can go any route really with it.
The villains they set up in this movie. Let's see. They set up Joker, of course. They set up Penguin to be a bigger. Penguin's getting his own spin-off show, and so which I'm looking forward to that now, especially now after seeing him in this movie.
Yeah.
See, they set up Hush because the journalist
with the two names.
The journalist that was basically going to let the cat out of the bag that Martha Wayne was an Arkham Asylum inmate. His last name is Elliot, which is the same last name as Thomas Elliot, who is Hush in the comics. So, and Hush's whole storyline is about getting revenge against the Waynes. So they can set up a story in the sequel that Thomas Elliot is trying to get revenge on Bruce Wayne for the death of his father. So there you go. I wrote the movie for you, Matt Reeves. Go ahead and do it. They kind of set up Core of the Owls, but not really.
Nah, I think they'll do more. Whatever the second movie is.
It just makes more story sense. If you really want to go, if you want the sequel to dive deeper into the corruption of Gotham, that's the logical next step. Who else did they set up Harvey Dent because the DA in this movie dies, so that leaves an open position for the DA, which could bring in Harvey Dent. Commissioner, I think Gordon's going to become commissioner.
Already though?
Yeah, who else is going to be? I mean, you don't have to wait like they did in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Yeah. But he's commissioner. It doesn't matter.
I mean, whoever's commissioner, he's commissioner anyway. So.
Yeah. He'll always be Commissioner Gordon. I think that's all the villains they set up.
Yeah. We're gonna get into the ratings out of 10. I'm gonna go solid 9.5. 9.5 because 10 out of 10, still The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I don't really like giving ratings. I like just giving my opinions. So I mean, like the directing was amazing. The story of this is something we haven't seen in a comic book movie. The acting, superb. The cinematography is the best cinematography I think I've seen in a comic book movie, like ever. I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10.
As you guys could tell, he was the expert on the whole entire thing. You know, he's the Batman fanatic. You know, I'll be speaking in more other movies.
And we won't go into the whole plot. I don't know. He just said we're gonna do spoilers, so I'm just like, okay, so we're gonna give him the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah. We'll like organize this a bit better the next time. So you guys are just gonna get a long video.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, he basically just gave you guys the whole entire movie. You guys don't even need to go see it.
Although but go see it at a big screen with a great sound system because you want to hear that Batmobile rev up.
Oh yeah.
In the best theater possible.
That's why we're going for. Yeah, I think I've decided to go see it in 40 at this point.
We're gonna go see it 40?
Yeah, we're gonna go see it in 40. All right. We'll catch you guys next time on another review because I'll be doing more of those with him, of course.
Should we do that?